Hello and welcome to another video in the world of Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, and I'm going to pose a question: support horn, best horn? As well as I have a few wonderful safety builds to show you just in case you are struggling. Now, on to the first point: support horn, best horn. Now, this is not me telling, this is a question really. See, my wife is a big, avid, loving fan of the hunting horn for its buffs, its damage, its pure stun capability, as well as the fact that it can be outfitted to help support a team. Particularly in MMO style games that we play, she either plays as a pure DPS archer class or a support class. And typically in previous Monster Hunter games, she's always played as a bow or light bowgun. So in World, she wanted to try something different. She wanted to go a bit more of a support style, hence her using a hunting horn. And she didn't just want to stop at just utilizing the hunting horn buffs. She wanted to go a bit more supporty, wide range, speed eating, you know, that sort of style of thing. And in base game there wasn't really much option for it, but since Iceborne has hit with level 4 decorations and decoration slots, along with having decoration slots in your mantles, the capabilities have been endless. But there was one thing that I found that really helped her out in making this build for her, and that is quite simply the fact that super recovery now only requires 2-piece Val Hazak. So I'm going to put the build that she utilises quite effectively up on screen now. And while everyone can agree it is not the most amount of damage going, one thing I do wish to point out that I do not have Weakness Exploit Plus on there for the wounded parts, and we do also have near enough maxed out latent power. When all of this combines, your effective roar does jump up a fair chunk, but just not quite enough to actually make it your solo hunting horn build. So this is more of a team variant, but we do have wide range in there, and we also do have speed eating. So you've got to remember this is more of a support damage build. The damage is nice, but it's not the most going. So let's have a quick run over with the build. Now the hunting horn is entirely up to you. I quite like using the maxed out Lunostra Nergi one, simply because of the songs. It's got earplugs, affinity up, and health recovery, which is one of the main parts I like using it. It saves me trying to spam out all of my potions. Now I do have an affinity augment in there along with a health augment. If you don't have enough, get the health augment first, because that's going to be you staying alive. If your teammates don't want to worry about you, you need to worry about them. 2 critical jewels in there as well. In the helmet for Teostra Beta, Sonorous Jewel 4. In the Teostra Beta chest, Tenderizer with medicine, and 2 more expert decos. The more health we get back from the health augment, better. In the Black Val Hazak gloves, we have a Goblet expert and 2 vitality, although those 2 vitality are entirely up to you. Could put 2 attack in there, or blast, or dragon, whatever the element you desire is. We then have an expert jewel 4 just to try and max out our expert, as well as a tenderizer jewel 2. We are finally running a tenderizer vitality jewel in the boots and the friendship charm 4. This will max out our wide range. Now for those that are not too bothered about running a bit of a support horn, all we've really got to do at this point is just kind of change over the charm and maybe swap around some of the level 4 decos. But why am I saying support horn, best horn? And again, I'm not stating it as an actual fact. It's just quite obviously master rank is a challenge for a lot of people, especially those that aren't particularly familiar with the way Monster Hunter works. The scaling now is through the roof, and once you start getting to tempered elder dragons within master rank, yeah, you're not gonna have the most fun time if you're not prepared. So I put it to you, would a support hunting horn by the likes of this, maybe with attack up large and defense up large from the Joe horn? There are many great and wondrous options just to have that extra support. as well as a well-supplied hunting horn can literally mean the difference between a quest failed and a quest complete. There have been a fair few times now, particularly with things like tempered Namiel due to that weird water electric spam and tidal wave that thing does, where my wife coming along with a awesome mega potion just at the nick of time saves my ass because I'm being way too overzealous with my heavy bowgun. So is it something that could be potentially worthwhile in group hunts? I would argue yes, and perhaps if you have like a group of friends and a good team together that you like to play with, maybe if one of them doesn't mind utilising a hunting horn, maybe get them to try out this build, see how your hunts go. I won't lie, some of your hunts do slow down a tad, because obviously you're not doing maximum damage with that hunting horn, but they're generally safer, more comfortable, and it's a bit of fun as well, especially when you're running around in a circle telling your hunting horn friend to heal you because you can't be bothered. But just in case as well, gonna move on to the safety build side of this as well. Now with these builds, as with the current support horn build that I have just shown, they are all utilising 2-piece Valhazak for the super recovery, which is going to definitely help with healing, as well as 3-piece TO for that master's touch. These are for all blade masters. Some weapons just don't work due to there being too much priority on other skills, which I just simply cannot fit in. But we're going to start off now with a more damage variant of a safety hunting horn. Now for these builds, pretty much all of them stay the same. I am just only really putting in the few augments you would really require. For this one I'm going with an affinity augment simply because the horn itself gives recovery, health recovery that is. However, for other horns you might want to go for a health augment, but generally speaking, again, it's not the most damage. I'm also not taking into account latent power because that requires you to take a good amount of damage in the first place, but it's pretty darn safe. You've got a nice chunk of health and the recovery on it is absolutely marvellous. Again though, you're not doing the most amount of damage, they're there to be safe. So just to put it into perspective, this is the greatsword build variant, which I've also tested. I've tested all of these out personally, they do work. You can get, they're not great clear times, you're looking 20 to 25 minutes, but they're safe. I've not carted with one of them yet. I also won't be reading out all of the decorations because they pretty much all stay the same. There's just an occasional attack deco here or there that changes depending on what you wish, and the decorations in the weapon also do change, but the basic mock-up of what it is there. It's all the same. So I'm just going to go through. This is the greatsword, which I really do hate. Dual blades is a pretty fun one. As long as you've got a rock steady mental on, you can regen your health so much, it's pretty much stupid. Feel free to replace the attack decos with blast decos if you wish, although I've gone with attack just to get that little bit more damage, which means that little bit more health return. Downside being you will end up sharpening a lot, and I do mean a lot. Even with latent power, you just about scrape the 100% affinity mark, and unless you are not capitalizing on utilizing the clutch claw wounded areas, you're only at 87. So damage wise you're actually quite fine. You do a decent chunk of damage, just it rinses your sharpness, so you need to keep on top of your sharpness to keep on top of your health regen, which is iffy at best. Hammer is an entertaining one. I honestly thought I would struggle with this, but I honestly really enjoyed it. It was absolutely stupid. When actually up against a tempered Kirin testing this build, it was quite slow and demanding, but as long as you've got a hit and run tactic going, even if I did get hit and some of my health disappeared, literally one boop on the head and run around for like 3 seconds, I was back to full health, and it was absolutely surprised me about how easy this made Kirin, the tempered Kirin, look. Now with Insect Glaive, truth be told, I really wanted to hate this, just because ever since 4U, for me, Insect Glaive has kind of been ruined slightly. I say ruined, I mean it got nerfed into the ground. 4U it was busted, and now it's just sort of like, eh. But I just found this so much fun. I actually kind of started going out of my way to get myself slapped about by Ruin and Nurg testing this, and yeah, I literally just got a few busts back, sat under him, spammed a few buttons and just watched my health fly back up. It was great fun. Jumping is not advised, you just don't do enough damage to get enough health returns. It's still on a 0.5 multiplier, and then adding in the Clutch Claw weak zone values and the fact that there's now no elemental airborne, it just jumping on Insect Glaive is just dead. It's not even close to being considered remotely viable, annoyingly. Now Lance suffers the same problem as Longsword. If you're good with it, this doesn't matter, and this is kind of redundant. If you know your block timings, I wouldn't worry. If you're still trying to learn your block timings, maybe go with something like this until you get even remotely good, and then add a health augment, and from that this is redundant. But I've added it in anyway, just in case people are interested. Same with the Longsword, which suffers from, if you're good, why are you getting hit, then why do you need a safety build? But again, if you're looking to start playing Longsword in Iceborne, maybe give this a quick look. It does help. The damage as well isn't actually too bad, as long as you can keep your red bar up. Now I don't know if it's just me, but Sword and Shield seems to have taken a fair hit in Iceborne, so do with this build as you would. This is the only build I haven't actually tested, simply because I horrifically suck with Sword and Shield. I can't get the back hop timings, and the playstyle just messes with my head. So I've added it in. This is the best I've been able to do. If someone can test it out and let me know if it is even remotely worthwhile, that would be great. But you know, there it was. Let's see what happened, shall we? Anyway, moving on, and this is what I believe is the best till last. Now, I have always referred to a switch axe as shit axe. Don't care, hated it, always hated it, and I thought I always will, until I was told that in Iceborne, the damn thing is busted. It is pretty much the highest sustained DPS for a melee weapon in the game, so I thought, you know what, I'll try it. And this is kind of where these builds came from, so I made like a safety build to learn it, figure it out. Doesn't matter if I get smacked around a few times, because with a few good hits, I'm back at full health. So this is literally what I use to learn switch axe. I've now moved on from this because I kind of feel semi-comfortable, and honestly this literally worked wonders for me. It really did. Out of all of them, I recommend this one the most. So if you are wanting to learn switch axe, because it is busted as hell right now, try this out and move from there. Anyway, that is me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this will help you guys out. Have fun, good luck, and don't die. It's bad for the health.